Recently, I had to postpone the launch of a new product in my business, one that I thought was ready, one that I felt like I'd plotted out the perfect timeline for, um, one that I put a lot of work into, refining it, working on it, working through it, working with it, and dreaming of for actually literal years. Um, and I came to the point recently where I was so close. It felt like I could taste the finish line. I could feel it. I was so close to it. And I thought, well, what else am I waiting for? Right? Am I putting this off or what is holding this back at this point? And so I might as well just put it out there because I've been working on it for so long and it's time and it feels ready. And I don't think that there's anything more I can do. I think I've got everything in place, right? And I was excited. Like, can you blame me? This is something I've been working on and dreaming of for a long time. Um, and I don't think that this is that uncommon, of course, right? So, of course, you're going to be excited when you're almost there, when you're almost across the finish line. And of course, you're going to be looking at, all those questions that might come into place. And I got to the point where I ended up having to postpone it. And I think that this is a point where I had to really take a look at what was happening in the business and why I was being faced with this decision of having to put it off a little bit longer because I really thought I was just so ready. And I think this is when you reach almost a breaking point, right? So anytime you are that close to the finish line is when you have to draw upon a little bit more faith, a little bit more power, a little bit more um, confidence, a little bit more trust in your vision and your purpose and all those things. Or you might just walk away. You might give up. You might get overwhelmed. You might think nothing is working. I've done it wrong. When you can't quite figure out what is happening, why you're having to pivot, or just look at it from, this place of feeling really defeated or just feeling really defeated, right? And maybe even embarrassed that, like, gosh, now I've got to go tell all these people that we're waiting for this thing, that it's not going to be the thing we thought it would just yet. And we can also start outsourcing, right? Getting a lot of more opinions than we actually need on the topic, getting a lot more validation than we really need, rather than just getting really, really clear and honest with ourselves and really clear on what the vision actually is, regardless of how excited we are or how disappointed we are in that moment. Because sometimes we get a little too close to the problem and we might be a little too close to even the solution. So the same day that I'm having this realization that, oh my God, I think this isn't the date. I don't think this is the day that we launch this. I don't think this is the day that we're doing this. Um, I'm getting ready for another interview and I'm putting on my favorite necklace, my go-to necklace. Now, this is one that just like, it's so easy to put on. It's a chain necklace. The chains are big, the loops are big, the clasp is even bigger. It's like 4 times the size of the whole chain. So just like see the thing. It's a no fail. If you are loving these energy upgrades and really looking forward to your next infusion of inspiration and clarity, then I would so love it if you would go leave a review and a rating. And if you're on iTunes, a written review goes a long way to helping us reach more women and getting our message out there and growing this community. And I would be so grateful. And while you're there, go ahead and head to the show notes. There are some listener only opportunities to work with me one-on-one. And while you're there, you can also learn a little bit more about the Abundant Leaders Mastermind, which is open now for enrollment and application. So book that call with me. Let's chat and see if this is the right fit for you. Easy, guaranteed, get it on quick kind of necklace. And it's beautiful. It's not the kind where you have to like get the edge of your fingernail on the clasp and pray that you can hold it open while you squint in the mirror and try to catch it for the 8th try before you start crying and giving up. It's not that kind of necklace. This one is just Like it's lined up perfectly, everything goes. But I'm standing there trying on my third attempt. This has never happened before. I'm trying at my third attempt of getting this chain to latch onto the clasp. And I had it lined up just right. And now I'm starting to get frustrated, wondering what isn't right. And as embarrassing as this sounds, it goes with the story. So bear with me. Thank you for sticking with me here. I could have at this point tossed the necklace, given it up, thrown it in the trash, right? All of those things crossed my mind, believe me. Um, but what I did was I took it off and I held it in both hands and I stretched it out end to end so I could see the whole thing. And then I realized the clasp was not open. It seems obvious and it seems silly, but sometimes we're just too close to the solution. We're too close to the problem. I had done everything. Everything was lined up perfectly. I couldn't have done anything better or more, but the clasp wasn't open. It wasn't ready. It hadn't been prepared. And so, of course, once I could see that, the solution was clear, it was quick, it was simple, and we were off and running again, right? So you go from this place of complete frustration and despair to off and running, quantum leaps, leaps ups and downs, and moving on instantly. And that's the energy that we're talking about today for this energy upgrade for your week ahead is tuning into that one thing that has the power to keep you on track and on point for any project, any conversation, or any goal. And if you've been with me for a little while, you know the answer. It's your intention. Having a clear intention is the thing that will get you through time and time and time again. And this is what I had set up for myself at the beginning of this year was to have foundations in my business that could support me no matter what. Last year was a very unsteady year for me. We had a lot of grief in the family. We lost my dad, and I felt like there were so many times where I had to make a choice between supporting my family or supporting my business. And by being able to step away, it gave me the peace and the gratitude to be able to even be in a position that I had these choices to make. And it reminded me of how empowered I actually am by the decisions that I've made and allowing me to have a little bit more grace around that as I do move forward, creating these foundations. And that actually, this is the intention that I filter all my other intentions through. So when I finally stepped back from the necklace and stepped back from the what I thought was the problem in my business, what I could see was actually I am right on time. This is actually the intention that I had set. We are laying the foundations. Everything actually is in place. And what I wanted for this particular project, when it grows, when it takes off, for it to be able to weather any storm, for it to be able to go through droughts. I needed it and I wanted it to be able to sustain itself long term. And that requires growing roots. So it was more than just creating foundations. It was allowing space and time for this to grow roots, for it to take hold so it really, really can provide and really create nourishment. And that was the piece that I didn't consciously put into my plan. But I could see that by having a bigger intention, it was infused into everything I was doing anyway. And it was going to take care of itself anyway. And it was going to, that answer was going to reveal itself to me anyways. I was not going to be able to get around that because I was holding my big intention so clearly that there's no getting around it. And that's the beauty of being able to have a high quality intention, knowing why your intention matters, knowing why you're doing what you're doing is really going to put you on a path, whether you see it definitively and not in front of you, to have exactly what it is that you intended to create. And so, if you're feeling this, I'm sure you can relate in some way. Maybe you're feeling this way now. Maybe you've been through something similar, facing some sort of disappointment or a delay, or wondering, where things are headed, not quite sure where they're headed. And my advice is, or my invitation is to just give yourself some grace and step back. Give yourself the opportunity to see the whole picture. You might be too close to the problem. You might be too close to the solution. Allow yourself space to set back. Set that quality intention and get very clear on why it matters. And see how far you've come. You might actually be really surprised, and might not be necessary to throw it out. That's a whole different topic we'll go into another day. But this is really about giving yourself grace to move forward, to infuse a high quality intention into what you're doing, using that as your filter and your lens to keep you focused and clear and on point for any project, conversation, goal, or any intention that you're setting for yourself. And how truly powerful that can be for you. I'm Lisa Malia. I really hope you enjoyed this energy upgrade. Please let me know what came through for you. Please tell me if you felt this way before, what you've done, how you've gotten through it, how you've moved through it, and what guides you when you're in a moment like that. And, for me, it is absolutely going back to that vision, going back to that intention, and of course, my intuition, and getting very honest with myself about what is true, what is really true in this situation, and moving forward from that place with confidence, with clarity, and with ownership over my choices and my decisions. And that doesn't mean I don't seek out more information or I don't seek out any advice, but I try to be very, very careful about how many opinions get to weigh in on what I'm doing, and having a lot of faith and trust in the bigger picture and the bigger vision. And that has always put me on the right path. All right, sending you all so much love. I hope you have a beautiful, beautiful rest of your day.